It has been a problem for decades from the EU to make some kind of pressure for the universal EU values. Yeah. And when I've always asked from the Commission, European Commission, what are the values? I would like to see like where they're written, or like when we have declared like the common values, or when we have agreed by the member states that those are the common values. There is no answer. There's no answer, never ever. It's a typical political rhetoric, always. If you have to blame some member state for something, what it doesn't like, then you're talking about the common values. But of course, we can understand what they're thinking about with the migration policy, with the family policy, with the LGBT things, with the gay rights. And we can see the conflict, what has happened like between Poland and the European Commission. Also with the migration policy, where there are member states who are saying, no, we don't agree with the common migration policy because it goes against to our own interest. Yeah. It is not in our interest to have a common migration policy because by the treaties of the EU, it's very clearly declared. It's the capacity of the member state, not for the EU. And there's a conflict. So that's why all the time there is a dealing with the EU, and that's why we are, of course, like from our party, we are making the political pressure all the time in the migration policy to be in a good relation with Poland, with Hungary, that they have a support in the Council of Europe. That if there's a meeting between the ministers of interior affairs and they're going to have like the agreement of the migration policy of the EU, then there's a backup for the Polish and for Hungarians who say, yeah, we support you, absolutely, we share your views. Same thing with the family policy. So yes, there is a problem with some kind of common values of the EU, and I don't like this word because values, well, I have my own values and my family has my own values, but I don't share the same values with the German families. They can have their own values. I don't care about those values. They're my values. So there is a pressure to have common values. But in the real life, at least in the real politics, today at least, we have blocked a lot of those kind of initiatives for the common values, especially when we're talking about the migration and the family policy. But of course, the pressure is going on, and the biggest problem actually is that I think that's why the UK is very different from the other European countries. You left the EU with 52% of the voters, 23rd of June 2016. But in the EU, most of the countries, if you talk with the voters and you make a polls, they can say that, yeah, I don't agree with the common migration policy, of course. We shouldn't take all the illegals. Yeah, I think, of course, the family policy should be part of the member state policy and it's not our thing. But if you ask, okay, but do you support the EU? Then 80% say, of course, absolutely, yeah. Because, yeah, it's a very good thing, actually. It's good economically, and what can we do without the EU? So the biggest problem is that how to convince more and more people in the member states, in the EU countries, to understand that the EU is not how they're showing themselves. It's absolutely different thing. It's absolutely different. So it's like some kind of, like the part of the empire who wants to play empire games, but they're not the empire. You can't play an empire with a rainbow flag. You can't. You're not a part of the empire. So it doesn't work just. But anyway, the good thing is that I think it takes maybe 20, 30 years, but the EU will collapse. Just let's wait for the next huge financial crisis, and it's not very far away. And let's see how we're dealing together with Italy and Germany in the same union. So 2012, it was already collapsed. It was very close. But I think the next collapse is what we're going to have. They're going to be huge. They're going to be huge.